So, Crystal Hunt is Blade and Sorcery progression game mode. Like the last time I did this, I thought it'd be pretty interesting to ignore the first word of the game and don't use any of the weapons they have. This challenge has only one simple rule: get to the end without killing anyone with a weapon. If I did, I must restart the level. But this is not fist only challenge, because instead of regular weapon, I am allowed to use a random props that I found throughout the level. The fact that I didn't ban magic may make some people think that the challenge is a bit too easy. Well, don't worry, because I also turn up the difficulty. I create my character, pick my starting crystal, and off to the challenge. Starting with the opening, I discover really early on that without a weapon, I have to use environment to my advantage. Slam the enemy against the ground, pushing him off a cliff, and so on are a lot faster than straight up punching. While the rule says that I cannot kill anyone with a weapon, there's nothing stopping me from, say, picking up those weapons and keeping it in my pocket. That is, until I accidentally grab one during a fight and hit someone over the head, causing the first restart of the challenge. The second time, I make sure not to make the same mistake, and after getting rid of everyone, I took off the drop weapon to my house. Since I picked the body crystal as my starter, I unlocked Drive Start, a skill that I still cannot get to work reliably at the time of making this video. In case you didn't know, in Crystal Hunt, you will need to use a map to travel to a bunch of levels, where you will have to fight enemies, get loot, and most importantly, get the map pieces at the end of each level. Collect enough map pieces and you will unlock a special level called the Bulgarian Dungeon. But before that, I go to Baron's Bounty, a place where you can buy and sell items. Wow, an actual in-game shop in the VR game? Can't say the same way about the other games. Anyways, the reason that I bothered picking up all the weapons that I cannot use is because I can sell them all here for an extra bit of money. Other than the fact that I cannot buy weapons, I also decided not to buy any armor, just to make it a bit more challenging. Then I went to this sinking ship to pick up the skull to add to my collection, and also this cool sword. Too bad I cannot sell it, so I guess Baron can have this one. The first level is basically a tutorial. It's kinda difficult fighting multiple enemies at once, especially without any usable skill to help. So my tactic is to knock one of them down before fighting the other. There's a cool moment here where I used the wooden log that I found earlier to block an incoming attack, but the blade actually got caught by the log, allowing me to disarm them and then counter. I pick up a chair and use it to whack someone over the head. Now should be a good time for me to tell you that there are two types of props: unbreakable and breakable. Unbreakable, as the name suggests, will never break, but breakable props will break into smaller pieces, and some of those pieces can be sharp enough to stab people with. But what prop should I pick up, you ask? The answer is yes. Back to the game, I never expect a chair leg to be sharp enough to stab people with, and having it be surprisingly good at doing so, so the rest is pretty easy. I fought a few more people, grabbed an upgrade crystal for a box, got jump scared by this mage, and then make it to the map pieces. I sell off every loot that I can, and I put down the rest of the prop inside my house. Also, with that upgrade crystal, I actually have enough to unlock Stalker, which should make stealth a bit easier. Not that I use it in the following level, because why stealth when you can use the ore? It's unbreakable, and it's one of the few props in the game that can be put in a holster. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it gives me a longer range when fighting, and also the fact that it's not a weapon means that I can use it all I want without failing the challenge. I tried to test if the Skyrim basket trick works in this game or not. It doesn't. I make the most out of the ore, because sadly I cannot take it back to the base with me, but I make it to the end and get the other map pieces, and with that I can go to the first Bulgarian dungeon of this run. But before I do that, I go back home to unlock this combobulate, which gives me the ability to stun enemy if I hit them in the head. The first dungeon is not that hard. I make use of Stalker by sneaking behind this enemy and use a fireplace to burn them alive, which allows me to rip out their body part and use it to throw at the other enemies. Then I use a lid as a shield to block an arrow and a fireball. I break a plate and give the enemy the Crazy 8 treatment, but it was not long until I make it to the boss's room. The Blade and Sorcery community call this guy Hector. Hector is a stone golem. The way you fight him is to break the 3 big crystals that are places around the room, so you can break the small crystals that are on Hector. After you break all the small crystals, Hector will fall onto his knee and you can kill him. The fight with Hector is really easy. You can take a look around the rooms to see where the big crystals are even before you can wake him up, and you get a head start while he does his wake up animation. After breaking the 3 big crystals, most of the time you just have to climb up Hector, break 1 crystal, jump out, let him do his getaway attack, and then redo that over again until he dies. It is quite a fun fight until you realize that you have to fight him 6 times. time. I'm not sure why, because just before the day create all this beautiful room with a lot of variety just for them to lead you to fight the same guy in the same room all over and over and over again. But enough nitpicking, I finish him up and use his crystal to unlock the second tier of body magic, and with that I unlock second wind, which will give me an extra life in case I messed up. In lap 2, I cave in someone's skull using a big rock, jam a barrel weight in someone's neck and do a bit more fighting and punching. Learn that you can actually grab a fireball midair, unlock wrestler, which let me grab and throw enemy, and I have a lot of fun doing that, and soon enough I'm back at the second dungeon. With how dark this game can be, I actually got jump scared by this enemy hiding in the tunnel, but after that I encountered quite a hard fight. I had to keep moving back and forth, and using the wrestlers, I pick up this guy and use him as a human shield. I almost die here, but the good thing about not buying any weapons and armor is that you can spend all of your money on a shit ton of apples. Take that, doctor! In the boss's room, I finally got my hands on one of the best props in this run, a bone. Like the other top tier prop, the ore, you can also holster the bone. Even better is that you can actually take it with you throughout the levels. Oh, I find another Hector too, I guess. Oh wait, I unlocked tier 3 of the body magic, which means martial protege. In lap 3, I decided to try out an arena level, using my trusty woodlock and basket lead as my improvised sword and shield. The level is fun, too bad it didn't give me a map pieces, but I would take the money nonetheless. Remember, martial protege is a skill that lets you tear off enemies' lip. It can be hard to do sometimes if you're going for it in the middle of the fight, since you have to fight both the enemy and the in-game physics, but the reward is that you can kill anybody instantly. But I'm not done yet, because later I collected enough crystal to unlock intimidation. Its description says that the enemy that witnessed the death or brutality of their allies may surrender to you in fear. Grabbing someone by the throat and trying the heads off in front of their friends is really brutal and scary in my opinion. So it's almost guaranteed that at least one of the enemy will scream out in fear and surrender, making them easy to grab and tear again. Even when they don't surrender, you still have something you control, also making them easy to grab and tear. I also discovered something very important. Here's the scenario. I climb up a tower to kill this archer at the top. I grab a chair so I can use it to hit an enemy. I saw one below me, and me not wanting to take unnecessary fall damage, I tried putting the chair under me in the hopes that it will break the fall. But instead of doing that, this happened. I quickly finished the rest of the level so I could try doing it again when I go back home. Apparently, prop flying is still alive and well even in a VR game. All you will need is a chair, stand on it, grab the top, and up you go. There's no magic, you can fly as high as the invincible ball goes. Most of the levels you go through are indoors, so it's not that useful, but other than that you can have fun as long as you like. Well, unless you broke your chair midair. A bunch of Blade and tears later, I spent all of my money buying all of the healing items and heading off to the next dungeon. The bone really comes in handy in this big room fight, especially when I can dual wield them. Also, look at this, I was running at this archer, he took a shot at me. As I tried to dodge, an arrow pierced my hand, but when I punched him back, I stabbed him with his own arrow that stuck to my hand. I didn't consider this as me failing the challenge because 1. I didn't grab the arrow, 2. Technically he shot himself with that arrow, and 3. I don't fucking care, it was fucking cool. Anyways, this time Hector actually put up a fight, with him shooting a laser beam at me and the bone shine through yet again, because it can actually destroy the big crystal in 2 hits and actually able to destroy the small crystal in 1 hit. This time with the body magic maxed out, even though I know I can get an extra upgrade crystal from it, I decided to unlock the mind magic instead. This unlocks slow time, a slow motion that I can activate with a touch of a button. And that's not all. Between body and mind, you can unlock temporal repose. Now every time I parry, it will slow down that enemy that attacks me. In lap 4, the game gave me a new faction to fight. Unlike the bandits who at most wear leather clothes and the wild folk who barely wears anything at all, the Iridian Kingdom actually wear proper armor. Good thing that I unlocked Juggernaut. No, just give me 200 health. It allows me to just run the enemies over. You will also see that slow time, even at the best level, make group fighting a lot easier to manage. That is, until I accidentally grab this gravity staff and whip ride this poor guy with it, causing another restart on this run. In the 4th dungeon, I decided to try a little trick. Remember the flying chair tricks a while ago when I said that it's not yet useful since most of the levels are indoor? In the dungeon, while some room can be big, it's still true since it's connected to each other using a corridor, but that's only true if I actually go inside of the dungeon. And who would do that? Instead of going straight into the dungeon, you go to the side, climb up this wall, you will see that there are a spot that you can go out of bounds. And using that chair trick, this allowed me to skip 90% of the dungeon and go straight to Hector. I don't have to go through an army, but at the cost of missing out on all of the loot. But who cares about that? But you have a hospital worth of healing supply in your bag already. The chair breaks when I click back onto the map, so I will have to climb a bit more. Good thing that I unlocked flight kick before coming here. It's a more reliable version of the drive strike, so I can launch myself using a kick, and beep bop boom, another Hector is dead. This time I unlocked gravity magic, which give me gravity push and floating grab. It's not hard to guess what those two do from their names. With those two spells alone, these challenges go from somewhat hard to a cakewalk, and it shows level 5. Even a new faction called the Eyes, who are the strongest enemy and wear the heaviest armor, are no match for this low-level gravity mage. I have an even easier time throwing people off a cliff and can push them against the wall until they die, or I could make an enemy float into the sky, push them up again, and let gravity does its job. If you played this game before, you will know that after the 5th dungeon, there will be an ambush planted by the Eye, probably as a revenge for giving most of the crew a permanent concussion. I have got to admit they are smart, and they want me to go exhaust myself going through the dungeon before launching their attack, but there's something they didn't know. We get another hitter down, come fire magic. But don't worry about that. First, as soon as I'm home, I turn up the max drop weapon in the setting. Then I ran to my house trying to take down as many guys as I could before someone sounded the horn. Then I go to this corner of the house ready to fight for my life. Except they don't get in the house. For some reason, almost the entirety of the Eye decided to be polite and all stood outside the store. That gave me time to unlock fireball and burning grabs. And the rest of the fight is me spending 5 minutes hiding behind the store and slowly taking pot shots until they're all dead. I was expecting someone to come in from the other door at some point, but nope, everybody is here in front of this one door. After everyone is dead, I go around and grab all of the weapons that I can, and about the dead bodies, like earlier when I burn an enemy's alive, after a while it will turn to crisps and become stiff solid. But did you know that you can make the body go limbs again by lighting it on fire? With burning grabs, I can adjust the body in any way that I want, and as soon as I let it go, it will become solid again, which allows me to create some art. Like this one, and this one, and this one. Oh, and don't forget about the weapon that I grabbed, because I sell them all to the barons, and oh my god, look at all those money. The last lap feel like a victory run. There's nothing that can stop me from shooting them from afar, pushing them away, or killing them instantly by ripping their heads off, so I have a fun time killing everybody. In the last Dalgarian dungeon, after finding the urge to fly again, I decided to do this game justice and just play it normally. And yeah, that's Blade and Sorcery props only. Is it hard? Not really. Even without me cheesing like 2 of the dungeon and the use of gravity and fire magic, the martial protege and intimidation combo is still very strong. But looking back, I should probably just stick to body magic. But what's done is done. With the help of a mod, the total kill that I got in this challenge are 403. I failed 4 times, 3 from rule breaking and 1 from actually dying. And remember when I said that I was collecting score, I got 32. Thank you everyone who made it through this video, and especially thank you Jonathan Colossus for giving me $5 every month on Patreon. Even though I barely upload anything on there, technically he pays me $35, so do I need to read his name 7 times? Jonathan Colossus, Jonathan Colossus, Jonathan Colossus, Jonathan Colossus, Jonathan Colossus, Jonathan Colossus, Jonathan Colossus. If you want to see behind the scenes or view videos before anyone else and also want exclusive scrap video, consider checking it out. If you want to see the actual fist only challenge, I recommend this video by this guy, or this video where I beat S&S Retribution with that instead. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you when I make the next video in 10 years, I guess.